Hello everyone, this is welcome back to this YouTube channel, and today we'll be treating mathematics, magic maths. Mine isn't mathematics, it's magic maths. And my name is Juwon Marvelous. So today we'll be treating this mighty topic that people have been thinking, oh, it's so big and everything. It's quadratic equation. Okay, we'll be treating quadratic equation, and then it will interest you to know that there are 4 ways of solving this quadratic equation. We have factorization method, we have formula method, we have completing the square method. This is the part that gives people a lot of problems, but it's very easy. Stay tuned. And then we have the graphical method. For those of you who are writing QAEC and other excellent exams, you might see this in your questions. So, quadratic equation. Now, how do you denote a quadratic equation? Ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, where a, b, and c are what? Integers, and a cannot be 0. A, b, and c are what? Integers, and a cannot be 0. So, in a situation whereby you're given 2x squared plus 5x plus 6 equals 0, you should know that this is a quadratic equation. This is a quadratic equation. And know this, a quadratic equation always equals 0. That is, after solving everything, after solving your equation, and then you impute your value of x and it doesn't give you 0, then you should know that something is wrong. Okay, now let's see some questions under this. We'll start with the factorization method. Now, let's see some questions. We have x squared minus 5x plus 6. X squared minus 5x plus 6. Factorization method. What I like to do is I like to draw a line that comes here like this. Now, what this line means is I'm multiplying x squared and 6. So what I'm going to get is what? 6x squared. Is that taking? When you multiply x and 6, you have 6x. So when you multiply x squared and 6, you have 6x squared. But this principle doesn't apply to what? Addition. Is that taking? We'll get to that. Now, when we multiply x squared and 6, we have 6x squared. So what we're going to do now is that we're going to look for 2 integers that when we multiply, they are going to give us what? This one here. Multiplication, and when we add this, they are going to give us what? This. Is that taking? Addition and what? Multiplication. So this is where your reasoning comes in. So we're going to look for now 2 numbers that when we multiply is going to give us what? 6x squared, and then that same 2 numbers, when we add them, it's going to give us what? 5x. So let's think of them. We could say 5 and 1. If we multiply 5 and 1, it's not going to give us 6. But if we add this, it's not going to give us 5 as well. So let's say 3 and 2. 3, 2. So if we multiply 3 and 2, 3 times 2 is going to give us what? 6. But 3 plus 2 is going to give us 5 plus 5. However, don't get this wrong. X has with it an integer. It has with it an integer, and that is what? Minus 5. Minus 5. So we are looking for what? Minus 5 and what? 6, not plus 5. This is where many students get it wrong. You just see the question in the exam and then you're like, okay, 3 and 5 is going to go. So 3 and 2 is going to go. And then you just do x plus 3x plus 2. No, you have to find the particular sign, the particular either negative or positive signs that what fits when they multiply is going to give you what? 6, and then when you add them, it's going to give you what? Minus 5. So let's try minus 3 and what? Minus 2. So let's multiply minus 3 times minus 2. Minus times minus is going to give you what? plus. You should know this. When these two signs are the same thing, it's going to give you a plus. But when they are different signs, it's going to give you what? Minus. How do I mean? Plus times plus is going to give you what? Plus. Minus times minus is going to give you what? Plus. Negative times positive is going to give you what? Negative. And then positive times negative is going to give you what? Negative. So when they are different signs, it's going to give you what? Negative. But when they are what? The same sign, it's going to give you what? Positive. Now, minus 3 times minus 2. Minus times minus, we have a plus. So that's what? Plus 6. Is that okay? So we have this covered. Then minus 3 plus minus 2. What we normally do in this particular situation in our head is that we just ask, you're owing someone 3 naira and you're owing another person 3 naira, or you're owing someone $3 and you're owing another person $3. So how much are you owing to both of them together? That's what? $5. That is correct. Now, minus 3 plus minus 2. That's what? Minus 5. So you see that minus 3 and minus 2 fits in perfectly. Is that okay? So now what you're going to do is that you're going to insert this into this. You will exchange minus 3 and minus 2. X squared minus 3x minus 2x plus 6. I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. I just brought this down. If you do minus 3x and minus 2x, it's still going to give you what? Minus 5x. Is that okay? Now, follow me. What we are going to do, you see, we call it what? Factorization method. It is factorization. We are going to what? Factorize. So we're going to what? Pick them into brackets. This, and this, and what? This. Remember, take note of your signs. So, method, we are going to look for what is common between the two brackets. Now, x is common in this, x in x squared. We have your what? X. Then minus what? X in what? 3x, we have what? 3. Now, look at this now. This is how you know if you're correct. X times x, you have your what? X squared. Then x times what? 3, you have your what? 3x. You see the difference? X times x, you have your what? X squared. Then x times 3, you have your what? 3x. However, when you have your what? X plus x, that's going to give you what? 2x, not what? X squared. X times x, you're going to have a power. But x plus x, you're going to have an integer. Okay? Now, look at this now. We have your, what is common here? Remember, put your negative sign. 2 into bracket. X. Of course, 2 into x, you have your x. Then your what? Minus 6. Minus 3. 2 in 6, you have your 3. Now, I know some of you might be asking, why is it minus? I told you, you have to always what? Check. 2 times minus 2 times x, you have your what? 2x. Then this same minus 2, take note of your signs. This same minus 2 times minus 3. Remember, minus times minus, when they are same signs, the answer is what? Plus. So minus 2 times minus 3 is going to give you what? 6. Is that taken? Plus 6. Now, anytime you solve and you get to this level, if these two are not the same thing, you're wrong. It means you probably missed one of the spells we used on the way to get our mathematics. So, if these two are not the same, go back, you probably made an error somewhere. So now, we're going to bring one of this, x minus 3, and then we will get this, and get this, x minus 2. Remember, our quadratic equation is always equals to what? 0. Equal to what? 0. So, we're going to bring the both of them. Remember, it's x squared. So, we need to have 2 values for x. X minus 3 equals 0, and x minus 2 equals 0. Of course, collect like terms. Minus 3 coming to meet 0, we have your what? X is equals to what? 0 plus 3, and then x is equals to what? 0 plus 2. So x is equals to what? 3, and x equals to what? 2. These are our two values for x. Now remember, I said quadratic equation always equals what? 0. So let's impute the values of our x now. When x equals 2, 2 squared, that is what? 4 minus 5 times 2, that is what? 10 plus what? 6. 4 minus 10, that's going to give you what? Minus 6, then plus 6. That is what? Minus 6 plus 6. When someone $6 and then you have $6, what is left is what? 0. So you can also prove for what x equal 3. Is that again? Now, remember I said it was what? Mathematics. In situations like those of you that are writing jams, some of you go for Wikipedia competitions or anyone which is time-based. When you get, this is a trade secret, when you get the values for this, that is, you get it's minus 3 and minus 2, or plus 3 and plus 2. As long as there is no integer here, just change the signs. Here's what I mean. X minus 3. We got this one to be what? Minus 3 and what? Minus 2. As long as there is no integer here, there is no 2x, there is no 3x, there is no 4x squared. Just what? Change the signs, turn this to plus and turn this to plus, and then you have your answer. For those of you that are writing jam, you don't have a lot of time with the example and everything. So this is what factorization method. Now let's solve one more question on it. 2x squared plus 3x minus 2. Okay, 2x squared plus 3x minus 2. This is a quadratic equation because it's in the format of what? Ax squared plus what? Ax plus what? C equals to what? 0. Now, see this. Our quadratic equation always equals 0 from the question. Now remember the line we drew the last time, the multiplication line, this to this, 2 times 2. 2x squared times 2, you have a what? 4x squared. Is that again? No! Always take note of the signs. This 2 is kind of what? A minus. Meaning, 2 minus 2 times 2 is going to give you what? Minus 4x squared. In the sense that negative times positive is going to give you what? A negative answer. So when you have different signs, it's always going to give a negative answer. Put that in mind. Because signs, if you mistake your signs, it could lead to a big problem at the end. Now, we have a what? Minus 4x squared. So we're going to look for a number of two values that when you multiply them, they're going to give you what? 4x squared. But if you add them, they're going to give you what? 3x. Can you see the whole? You need to be able to reason when you want to solve quadratic equation using factorization method. You could come and then say, okay, what are the two values that we multiply? It will give us 4, but if we add them, it's going to give us 3. 3 and 1 cannot go, because if you add 3 and 1, it's not going to give you 3. However, remember it's mathematics. Plus 4 and what? Minus 1. Plus 4 and what? Minus 1. Look at this. Plus 4 times minus 1. Of course, when the signs are different, it's always going to be a negative sign. So just put your word negative. Then 4 times 1, we have your what? 4. So we've done the multiplication aspect. Let's see if the addition aspect goes. 4 plus minus 1. Plus 4 plus minus 1. Plus times minus is still going to be what? Minus. So 4 minus 1, that's what? 3. So have we gotten our answers? Yes, we've gotten our answers. Minus 4 and then what? Plus 4 and then what? Minus 1. Those are the two integers. 4 times 1, you have a what? Minus 4 times minus 1, you have a what? Minus 4. And then you have a what? 4 plus minus 1. 4 minus 1, that's what? 3. 4 times minus 1, you have a what? Minus 4. And then 4 plus minus 1, you have a what? 3. So we've gotten our answer, our two integers. So we have a what? Minus 4 and then what? Plus 4 and then what? Minus 1. So we're going to insert this now as this. 2x squared plus 4x minus 1x. You could just put x. 1x is the same thing as x. Then minus 2 equals 0. Now look at this. We didn't do anything, like I said. We didn't cast any spell here. So 2x squared plus 4x minus x minus 2. All we just did was that we substituted our two integers for this one, 3x. Now, here goes. Factorization begins. Factorize. We group them into two groups. What is common here? 2x and 2x. 2x can go in 4x. So we bring out the word 2x into bracket what? What is remaining? 2x and 2x squared. You have your word x. Then plus what? 2x and 4x. You have your word 2. How do you know? 2x times x is what? 2x squared. And 2x times 2 is what? 4x. Is that taken? Then your what? Minus. What is common here? Nothing. So you just put 1. Is that taken? Of course, 1 can go in 1x and then 1 can go in 2. Your sign again. The last time we changed this because this was used to multiply this. Is that taken? This was used to multiply this. So minus, the last time it was positive sign that was here. And then we use the negative to multiply the positive sign. But in this case now, it's a what? Negative sign and a negative sign. And remember, I said when there was same signs, what does that mean? Correct. It's a positive one sign. So you have your 1 into bracket what? X plus 2 equals 0. Okay, let's see if we're correct. Do our two brackets tally? Oh, of course we do, of course we do. We're on the right track. X plus 2 and what? X plus 2. So then what do? We pick 1. X plus 2. And then in this case, you bring your words 2x and then you bring this one minus 1 equals 0. Now look at this. The both of them equal 0. So you're just gonna x plus 2 equals 0 and 2x minus 1 equals 0. X and x equals 0 minus 2 and then what? 2x equals 0 plus 1. When this 2 comes to make this 0, this plus, when it crosses this equal sign, is going to change to minus, of course. So x equals 0 minus 2. 0 minus 2, of course, you know that's what? Minus 2. Is that taken? You have $0 and then you're owing $2, so you're still owing $2. Then 2x equals to what? 0 plus 1, you have your 1. However, we need the value of x, not 2x. 2 is still disturbing x. What we're going to do is that we're going to divide both sides by 2. Divide both sides by what? 2. 2 is going to cancel 2. What we are left is what? X equals what? 1 over 2. So our two values for x are what? X equals what? Minus 2 and what? X equals what? 1 over 2. Let's impute them. Let's prove if we're correct. If you have time in the example, if you have time, probably when you're studying back at home, you can just check if you're correct. Now, x equals to what? Minus 2. Let's insert minus 2 as x. 2 into bracket what? Minus 2 squared plus 3 into bracket what? Minus 2 minus 2 equals to what? 0 from this question. Now, minus 2 all square. What does minus 2 square mean? It means minus 2 times minus 2. And when we have two negative signs, when we have two same signs, it's going to give us a what? Positive sign. So 2 into bracket what? 4 plus 3 times plus 3 times minus 2. Plus and minus, they are what? Different signs. So we have the what? Negative. 3 times 2, 6, then minus 2. 2 times 4, 8 minus 6 minus 2. So 8 minus 6, 6, and 8 minus 6, 2, and 2 minus 2 equals what? 0. So I believe you're correct. So in your own leisure time, you can check for this one. Is that okay?